Hello and welcome, everyone. This is week 5 of the CAA Today. Pretty short episode here. Just got one guest here, Cooper. Cooper, how's it going?
It's going great. It's going great.
Yeah, today is Super Bowl Sunday. We're doing the show a little earlier than normal. And so I'll get right into it. Real quick housekeeping. The Robert Morris coaching carousel has continued as we lose Lily, and we've got a new coach who I don't know how to address. His name is Long Live the Morris. And so we're excited to have him here. I assume it's a guy. Probably shouldn't do that, but as we get to know the new coach a little more, we'll have some more info about him maybe next week. I'll run right through the games here. It was the CAA CFC Challenge this week. I'll talk about that later. But first up, we had Delaware at North Carolina Central. It was a battle of two and two teams, but like we expected, Delaware led early and ran the clock out. The game was tied 28-3 at the end of the third, but a clean game for Delaware throughout with only one fumble and getting two picks, so they win the turnover battle. They remain the biggest name in the CAA South. The Hens win 35-16. Moving right along, we've got Delaware State versus NCA&T, North Carolina A&T, I should say. Cannon was down early, but an incredible second quarter where he outscored the Hornets 21-17, and then followed that up with an even better third quarter, scoring 28 and only giving up 8. Kenner was able to pull away and pull off a huge upset, but it wasn't even the biggest upset of this week. But still a big win for Canner and a big win for the CFC in this game, as North Carolina A&T won 49-43. Moving right along, we've got Duquesne versus Presbyterian. Presbyterian came to this game highly favored, found themselves down to Duquesne 28-7 at the end of the first. But fear not, Presbyterian fans, as the Blue Hose defense was able to shut down Duquesne, and then Duquesne had got three straight delay of game penalties, so that led to the Presbyterian win 47-28. Next, we had my game. It was not the game I expected. Citadel team that was struggling, but they were a tough read throughout. I found myself down 21-3 early, and then it was a tough climb to the top. Uh, Turnovers were my downfall in this game, but my defense was able to hold Citadel to only 199 yards total, and my one rush yard, along with 426 pass yards, helped me pull off this victory, 38-34 in comeback fashion. Keep going. Morgan State versus Montana State, the only non-CAA CFC game. It's been a tough stretch of football for Morgan State, and when you play Danny, you can't make mistakes. Ryland knows that now, having him played three times, and he's lost all three times. This game ended 34-7 in favor of Montana State. Robert Morris out South Carolina State. We mentioned this before, but the Robert Morris coaching situation has been interesting to say the least this year. Lily loses her final game as a Robert Morris coach, needing a sub late Saturday night as South Carolina State wins 47-20. Moving on, we had a big one. Towson at Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern, an undefeated team. They went into this with high aspirations, but Tigers were up 14-6 at the end of the third. The Buccaneers came alive in the fourth quarter and scored 20 straight, including a late touchdown with about 80 seconds left to pull away. In a well-fought game, the game final was 26-14. Keep going through these games. We're about halfway through. Uh, Gardner-Webb versus Villanova. Coffee fought hard, but Nova's on a bit of a hot streak right now, able to pull away early and hold off a small comeback at the end there from Gardner-Webb. The Wildcats won by 12, 38-26. Now we've got the biggest upset of the week, VMI at Davidson. VMI shocked the entire fake college football landscape with this victory, leading 17-3 at a half. The Keydets were able to match all of the points Davidson put on the board, 14-14 in the second half, and so VMI knocked off the previously undefeated Wildcats 31-17. Two more games left here. Youngstown State versus Elon, another huge upset as the formerly struggling Elon team is able to knock off the Penguins in a blowout victory, 49-28. Not much to say there. Elon absolutely kind of broke down Youngstown State and Snoop. And first big loss for Snoop. Obviously, Youngstown State's 3-2, but week one loss was attributed to Bernie as a head coach. And then finally, we had our game of the week, Richmond at Wofford, and this was a great game. Richmond had 423 total yards. Wofford had 556, but two turnovers for Wofford derailed them. A late onside was no good, and in the words of Zand, I guess numbers good. Richmond wins 47-42. And overall, CAA wins the challenge 6-5, but margin of victory leans in favor of the Carolina Football Conference at +10. And then keep going. What I got wrong, I missed North Carolina A&T, VMI, Montana State, Richmond, Elon. I'll keep chugging along because I'm the only one here that has a talking point for now. Unless you have any thoughts, Cooper. Anything about
Um,
the challenge?
yeah, I mean, here, just I'll comment a little quick on some games. It was good to see Zan pick up a really good win with Richmond. Because Zan playing up to his form now. Putting up those big numbers on offense. It was surprising to see Elon beat Youngstown State. Because Youngstown State really had gotten rolling, and I really thought they were going to continue to roll. But yeah, I mean, the CAA pulling out the victory. I really didn't. I really thought the CFC was going to have the CAA's number this week.
Yeah, and
So
I think a big part of it was uh, I think I skipped over a game. William and Mary and Furman. Furman fell behind and was really slow, like didn't come back in time. Furman falls to 0-5, and William and Mary won 24-7. But yeah, I think the biggest upset happened for me this week. Obviously, you saw Princeton lose. We saw Missouri Valley State lose. I'm pretty sure that was this week, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. Anyways,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
that was sorry.
yeah, that was this week. Yeah, and VMI Davidson was top 10 too, and seeing VMI who had struggled early on in the season, but they're at like a sneaky 3-2, and they're pretty good.
Yeah,
And so it'll be
yeah. I
interesting to see
mean,
how those things work out.
a lot of those top five teams that lost this week were either they lost to teams that were ranked or lost to teams that really had good resumes to that point. So, but VMI really was sitting at 2-2 and really had no eyes on them at all. So,
That's true. That one of their wins was like against Dan, I think, and that was
mhm.
like a 3-point win, and so that kind of hurt them there. And their other win was in conference, I believe, in which they knocked off Delaware, which I mean was a good team, but still, you don't look at VMI and think, oh, they're gonna win against an undefeated team. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the CAA continues to self implode on itself as we see the games keep moving on. So right along, we got players of the week. For offense, it's Villanova running back Freddie Peterson, who had 23 carries, 227 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Defensive player of the week, I didn't have much to go off of. I only had my own stats to look at. And so I'm picking my backup defensive lineman, Maxton said, who had 11 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. And I'll keep flipping through the graphics here as we see our power rankings. I come in at first, actually, with 33 points. This is my first time being first and also my first ever first place vote. I only got one. Uh, all three of the voters this week picked different number one teams, and they're all at different point values. So I had 33, one first place vote. YSU came in second at 32 with first place vote, and then Delaware came in 30 with 31 points with one first place vote. And the funny thing is, I didn't even vote for myself in first place. So I I don't. I mean, I know who voted me first, but I'm not gonna say it because that's like confidential. But anyways, moving on. Fourth is Delaware State. Fifth is VMI. Kind of surprising to see VMI still below Delaware State even after that big win. Villanova comes in at sixth. Richmond comes in at seventh. William and Mary comes in at eighth. Robert Morris 9, and then the bottom three is Towson, Morgan State, and Duquesne at the bottom. Moving on, here's a big segment. We've got contender and pretender. My contender is in the CFC. It's Charleston Southern. People have been talking about their offense not living up to their potential, but I believe that Towson is a very, very tough draw. Having lost to them myself and then beaten them, it is a tough game to get a read on. And so for Charleston Southern to be able to come back from being down in the fourth quarter and score 20 unanswered, that was a big point for me. And my pretender comes in the same challenge. It's from the CAA actually. It's Delaware State. They had a chance to go 4-1 and find themselves in the rankings, but they let it slip away against a not too good Canner, who has been struggling this season.
yeah, my contender and pretender. My contender is Albany in the America East. I think Albany is being majorly slept on right now. Their lone loss is to a Lafayette team, which keeps getting better and better. It was a 1 point loss week one, and Lafayette has just kept improving. And I think it's time for Lafayette. I think it's time for Lafayette to be. Lafayette's gotten its respect. Now it's time for Albany to get its respect in the America East. And my pretender is Southland team, Abilene Christian. They have a 4-1 record, but I just don't think compared to all the other 4-1 teams in the Southland, I just don't think they compare well. And it's not a good. I just don't think it's a good 4-1. Uh,
I'm actually going to go with another pretender. I just remember that Western Illinois lost this week, and for them, losing out of conference is not the thing you want to see, because the Missouri Valley is just so good this year. I mean, they've got so many good coaches, and it's kind of like the CAA last year, where any coach can beat any team on a given day. Kind of same thing this year too. But yeah, so interesting to see how those teams fare out the rest of the season. Moving on, we've
Given
got
that I lost to an 0-3 team in week three, I definitely know.
yeah,
And week
exactly.
four,
It's the rankings curse, you know. You get ranked too high, you
it's the
think too
rankings
good, and
curse.
you tumble down. You know. We'll be moving
Wasn't
back.
ranked. That's why I won.
Exactly. Hey, I wasn't ranked either. I lost two, and then I've won three in a row. So we'll see if I get ranked soon. I hope I don't. Honestly, I kind of want to avoid getting ranked for as long as possible.
Yeah, I kind of want to avoid the top 25 like the plague.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like receiving votes is fine and all, but oh man, being ranked in the top 25 is terrible. Terrible. Too much
Scary,
pressure. Moving
scary.
right along, we got week 6. What started off with Delaware State at William and Mary. William and Mary has been up and down all season, and DST was coming off a tough loss. But the one thing that has been consistent for William and Mary is their stout defense. We've known that Delaware State struggles against good defenses. And so give me the Tribe here, 38-35.
Um, I think uh, I think William and Mary they've had the good defense this season and last season too. And I think that is gonna cause some troubles for Delaware State. I think Delaware State, as usual, keep it a close game, but I do think I'll take the Tribe as well.
Fair enough. Moving on, we've got Duquesne at Robert Morris. We've got a new coach at Robert Morris and I guess a long-term sub at Duquesne. Long-term sub is a Lancer, who we know is good. But new coaches have done well in their first CA games. So I'm going to back Morris here, 31-24 in a quasi upset win.
You know, I'm a big fan of Val and Duquesne, and I hope Val can come back better soon. I think she's a good coach, so uh, I'd like to well wishes to Val. But yeah, Lancer's a top sub. He's great at coming down here and subbing for teams that might be struggling a little bit. And I think, and I'm not gonna say Lancer's gonna push the newbie around, but I think it'll be closer. But I'm gonna give it to Duquesne.
Next up, we've got Morgan State at Youngstown State. Both teams coming off of huge losses, but I'm going to back Snoop here. I don't see Morgan State recovering. They're 1-4. They've got 3 losses to Danny. Their one win was against Towson, who hasn't been good this season, to put it lightly. I hate saying that because Mr. D is such a nice guy and such a great person to have here. But struggles have been had, and so I'm going to back Youngstown State here. Uh, Probably going to be a high scoring one, seeing as Youngstown State runs that spread. And so let's go like 40, 45, 21, somewhere around there.
I think we should say bounce back for YSU. I think they're gonna recover well here, and I think Youngstown State is gonna roll.
Keep moving. We've got VMI at Richmond. The Keydets are rolling, but so are the Spiders. And but if I was a better, if I was a stock buyer, if I was a stockbroker, I'm buying stock in VMI right now, and I'm selling it right after they get this big win, 42-28. VMI has been pretty streaky all throughout, even in season three. When I first joined, they went on that run to the CAA championship and won, and then promptly crashed out in the first round of the playoffs. And last season they were up and down as well. I think they're on an uptick right now, and I think they're catching Richmond at a time where they're just a little bit better and they can edge them out a little bit. I'm going VMI 42, Richmond 28.
I think this is gonna be a game where Richmond's gonna hop out early, and VMI is gonna and Richmond's gonna like make like kind of force VMI to keep up with them. And I think Richmond's that good Richmond offense will be too much for VMI. Just and I think they'll win by I think like I'd say like 48-38. I think Richmond I think that offense will just be too much for VMI late down the stretch.
That's true. They did get 429 yards, but they also gave up a lot, and that's what scares me about Richmond is that defense.
Hmm.
Um, Moving on, we got Villanova at Towson, and to me, this is the most intriguing matchup. It's not our game of the week because there is like a higher stakes game, but two teams that are both not looking good in the wins column. I mean, they've been looking great in the games they play. Towson only lost by 8 to CS. Villanova's won two in a row, and I'm going to back them here with the hot hand, Nova. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's going to come down to the last stop. It's going to be a good defensive battle. I'm picking Nova to win by 3, 24-21, but I would not be surprised if Towson scores late to bring it to like 28-24.
This is a game where I both really like these coaches, and I don't want some person to lose in this game. I wish they could both win, but but I think Towson will. I think Towson's going to bring Villanova back down to earth from their two-game winning streak. From their two-game winning streak. I think Towson still should still be feeling good after that 8 point loss to Charleston Southern because it was an 8 point loss at the end, but it was a lot closer throughout the game than the final score uh, showed. So I think Towson gets the bounce back win 27-20.
And then finally, our game of the week is the highest stakes one. Delaware at James Madison. James Madison is 2-0 in conference. Delaware is right behind them at 1-1. This is the battle to set the front runner in the CAA South. Delaware is the reigning king, but James Madison is a hot team in the CAA and overall, winning 3 straight. I'm not going to pick on my own game, especially one that is like this high stakes. But if you're listening to this, expect this one to come down to the fourth quarter, just like last season's matchup. I'm going to say points are going to be somewhere in like the low 30s, high 20s range for both teams. It's going to be whoever has the ball last is probably going to be. I guess I shouldn't say that because it's a good defensive battle as well. My defense has been doing well, so I won't say it's going to be last ball scores, but it's going to come down to the last quarter. I'll say that much.
I know I know Mr. Larry at Delaware hates close games, but I think it's gonna be a close game here, and I think that fourth quarter offense is going to be very important for both teams. Uh, you just got to play for the team that plays. I think the most complete game is gonna win it. I think Delaware will just edge JMU out. I'm gonna say 28-27.
That's a lot closer than last year. Last year, I think it was like 6 points.
Mhm.
The year before that, it was like 20. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Slowly moving closer. Moving on, we've got listener topics. First question here is from Sarah. She says, when is it possible to ramp up vaccine administration to achieve full immunity? Sarah, I don't know how things are going in Canada right now, but they're probably going a lot better than they are out here in the middle of Nowheresville, Nebraska. We are on a large shortage of vaccines, and also logistics managing has been terrible here, uh, to say the least. And so we will see. I'm registered. Whenever I can get it, I will get it, and we'll see when that is.
I mean, there's I hope we can get more ramp up vaccine administration, but I mean, I think we're getting it out there. There's more vaccinated Americans than people with COVID now, which I guess that's something to say. Say I just in America, but we just need to keep uh, pushing out that vaccine, and I mean some of them are expiring, and we don't want that to happen.
Sarah, if you're listening to this, please let us know in the chat. How is it going in Canada?
Yeah.
I would really like to know. We'll await that answer, but we'll move on to the next question. We've got McNeese asking, "What's your opinion on a Southland Super Conference with everyone but Penn? I like the idea, but I don't like the name. I think like a colonial Super Conference would fit the best."
So would this be everyone in fake FCS except him?
I believe so, but so I think that would like automatically get Penn into the playoffs, but I mean that
Yeah, yeah.
happens
Would
usually
Penn have an
anyways.
auto bid at that point?
I
'Cause I feel
believe
like you'd
so.
have because I mean they're the conference champion. You'd
Exactly.
have to.
Yeah, actually, you bring up a good point. Maybe we throw like old Cal Poly into there. Maybe we throw like old Yale into there. Uh, we'll see it. Get a
Yeah,
conference with Penn and a bunch of slow coaches.
yeah.
No diss to Penn. I'm sorry, Jocks, if you're listening to this wherever. Uh, you're too good. Um, Answer from Sarah: People won't give us vaccines. Everyone suddenly rejects globalism when it comes to vaccine. SMH.
So
Um,
true. So
that
true.
that is very true, and I am sorry for you. I hope you get it soon. I hope you stay safe up there in Canada. I know things are crazy, but this is Earth. It's 2021. We're living. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's an interesting world. Next question, we got Georgetown asking, "Is the Mac back with two A's and a C?" Content wise, like personality wise, I really hope so. Obviously, Georgetown is a big name there. I haven't seen much of Hampton recently, but he's a great guy as well. Play wise, we'll see come later in the season. I think this is a question that we hopefully will revisit come week 12. And so we'll see how they go. I think they're sitting at 5 out of the conference right now, which is decent. I mean, I think that's better than us in the CAA, but we'll see how things go.
I mean, I really didn't expect the MAC to be like this season. Um, I I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the MAC is back yet, but I will say the MAC is quickly improving. The MAC did not have a kind of powerhouse team like they did before like Lafayette, which is which is something I think all good conferences should have one top dog that everyone chases. Like I feel like the Ivy has Princeton. I feel like everyone's always chasing Princeton in the Ivy. I feel like in the last year, I felt like everyone was chasing Youngstown State. I feel like the MVC this season, everyone's chasing North Dakota State. I think they built like good features of a successful conference. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Hampton's doing a great job getting coaches in, and he's got a couple of really good personalities in the MAC. I would love to see them, be a little bit more. I want to get Hampton on the podcast. I've asked him a couple times, and he won't like respond. I mean, he did respond, but he's a busy man. He's got kids. Dude, Hampton has like 7,000 Twitter followers. It's so crazy. Um, I find that so interesting. He's a popular man, that man. Um, and yeah, that was interesting. Matt, how you doing? I don't know if you can talk, but see you popped in here at the last second.
Doing all right.
Good. That'll lead us right into the last question. Cooper asks, "Who will win the Super Bowl tonight?" Cooper,
Oh,
I think you're a little bit biased here, are you not? But I'll let you answer.
okay, okay, okay. I I will join with most of the rest of America here. I don't like Tom Brady right now. Uh-uh. I don't like the Bucks. I'm a I'm a Panthers fan, so they're a division rival, so I don't like the Bucks. And also I have family in Kansas City, so I'm also a Chiefs fan. Go Chiefs. I'm complete This is completely biased. This is almost as biased as this is probably as biased as possible Super Bowl could be that doesn't have the Panthers, my team in it. But go Chiefs. Chiefs win big through Tom Brady.
All right. All right. Matt, what about you? Who you thinking?
I cannot root for Tom Brady, so I want Chiefs to just.
Fair enough. You guys aren't gonna like my answer, but I live in Nebraska, and
Say it.
who should have won the Heisman in 2009? The Ndamukong King, Sue. And guess who he plays for now? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And also, the Buccaneers also have former Nebraska standout, all-decade pro team Levante David at linebacker. And so, because of my Nebraska ties, I'm rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I've grown to appreciate this villain arc that Tom Brady has created for himself, with the Patriots and now with the Bucks. I'm rooting for the Buccaneers, and you know what? If Tom Brady gets more rings than he has, what does he have 7 of or 6? He has like 6 ribs
6?
on
Yes,
one half of
6.
his body. Yeah. So if he gets more rings than ribs on one half of his body, I wouldn't be opposed. And so
Oh,
go Bucks tonight. Um,
Ndamukong is a big
actually,
oh,
interesting fact about the Buccaneers' offensive line: 3 of their starters went to James Madison University. Believe it or not.
so why? Oh, come on.
Uh,
Why aren't you rooting for the Bucks then? Come on.
wait,
Tom
wait,
Brady.
wait, wait. The people who didn't were well, Tristan Wirfs didn't go to
No, he
JMU.
didn't.
He went to Iowa. But who started on the? I can't remember the Bucks starting line.
I'm looking it up right now.
Hmm.
Tampa,
I
Tampa
know.
Bay
Yeah.
offensive line.
I know the not Panthers. The
Oh,
Gamecock.
yep, Tampa
The
Bay
game.
Times. Here it is.
Oh yeah, I found it too. All right. I'll
So
run.
Ali Marpet is one.
Oh, well, he didn't go to JMU though, did he?
Wait, no. Ali Marpet.
What?
Did Ali did Ali
Oh,
Marpet go to
yeah,
JMU at one point?
he went to a D2 school.
Ali
He
Marpet.
went
No,
to
he was
Hobart.
D3. He was
It was
Hobart,
D3 Hobart, I think.
and then
There,
out in
Aaron
from
Ah,
James Madison.
Samuel. Stinney went to James Madison.
nice.
Who
I know
else? There's
I
a couple
know
others.
the South Carolina Gamecocks have
Uh,
3
Josh
this
Wells is
in
one
this
of their
season.
backups. He went to JMU.
Oh, really
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah. Um, and then Earl Watford is another backup on their offensive line from JMU.
Nice. Oh yeah,
It's
so they've
weird.
got they've got 3 JMU players. Nice. I
Yeah.
I remember hearing about Marpet. It was in like a Sports Illustrated Kids issue, I believe, about
He
him
was a
being from
he was a
D3.
second round pick.
Yeah, no, a second rounder from a D3 school, which is so crazy to hear about. And there's another
yeah.
one, I think this year in the
Oh, oh,
Senior
that
Bowl.
D3 lineman. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name.
There's
I'm
also the
looking
guy
But
it up
from
in the
right now.
Senior Bowl, he just pancaked everyone in front of
Everyone.
him. He looks
Uh,
amazing.
Quinn Miners.
I
He,
mean, he looks amazing.
I
His
know.
tape at the Senior Bowl was incredible.
there's also the guy from let me think.
Miners is from Wisconsin Whitewater. I really hope
There's also
the
the second round
Colts.
safety from
Wisconsin,
Lehigh too.
the Wisconsin D3 schools are good.
They're
There's
incredible.
Oh yeah,
Wisconsin Whitewater, there's Wisconsin Oshkosh, I think,
Oshkosh. Yeah,
and like there's a they
Stevens Point
always
as
win
well.
like the D3 national championships because it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
big. It's like a bunch of big like lumberjack type people from Wisconsin that just play college football in Division III.
And then you get that one guy, the safety that the Pats took this past year, who's D3 as well.
Well, there was second round pick in FCS from you Jeremy Chin. Go Salukis.
I remember the
JMU, they actually have a
Colts.
number of they had 7 players sign pro contracts from their past senior class, which is interesting.
Wasn't good old Danucci one of them?
He was the only one that was drafted.
Right.
Yeah, he was 7th round.
If you're familiar with Brandon Polk on the Rams, he was from that same class.
I remember the
Along with a
Colts
few others.
signed a D2 player a couple of years ago from Mars Hill University, the good old Mountain Lions.
Hey, it's
LaRaven
D2.
Yeah, D2. I think it was LaRaven Clark. I believe that was the player. I might be wrong.
Just saw some.
No, wait.
seen some.
LaRaven Clark isn't right. I'm gonna look that up. It's not LaRaven Clark. It's Denzel Good. That's who it is.
Denzel Good from Mars Hill.
Yeah,
I see
he was
it.
drafted in the 7th round. He was the second to last pick by the Colts, and then I think he plays for the Raiders now. So yeah, it's crazy. So there's good production in the NFL from non-D1A players.
Oh, there's plenty.
There's a lot of D2 and D3 people in the NFL.
There's a ton from the top tier FCS schools too.
That's true. NDSU is going to have some great players as well. Obviously, they had Wentz, but they've got what's his name, Trey Lance. He's going to be a good one as well.
I mean, there's teams with like 5 D2 and D3 players.
Yeah, it's crazy. I realized I have not.
JMU has a ton of alumni currently.
I'm gonna do this outro real quick. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to subscribe. If you're watching here, thanks for listening. I'm gonna click the stop recording button. Peace out, everyone. Thank you for listening.